I'm standing outside my boss's office door staring at the frosted glass, hearing him laugh on a call like my life isn't about to get cut in half. The door opens and he says, "Close it behind you." My stomach drops so hard my fingers go cold, because locked doors in offices only mean one thing. Someone is about to do something they don't want witnesses for. 2 years later, I'd be in a boardroom across town watching his biggest client sign a contract with my company while he texted me the first apology he'd ever typed in his life. At the time, I thought what happened to me was bad luck. I thought I'd just run into the wrong powerful man. I was wrong. It was a pattern. And I was just the next person he tried to erase. Here's the part that still makes me angry. He tried to ruin my career over something that wasn't even true. Not a mistake. Not a misunderstanding. A lie he decided to believe because it gave him an excuse to hurt someone. I didn't steal his wife. I didn't destroy his company with some movie plot. I did what actually works in real life. I documented everything. I built receipts. I made the lie expensive. Fast context. My name is Ryan. In 2018 I was 26 and working as a project manager at a mid-sized logistics company in Chicago. Good salary. Good title. The kind of job where you're constantly translating chaos into timelines and making sure clients don't notice problems until you've already fixed them. My boss was David Morrison. Publicly he was a mentor. Privately he was the kind of man who treated people like assets. He also had a daughter, Claire, who worked in accounting 3 floors down. Claire and I talked sometimes in the elevator. Coffee once. Lunch once. Nothing romantic. No secret relationship. No forbidden affair. We hadn't even kissed. That detail matters because of what David accused me of next. Friday morning he calls me into his office. He closes the door. Then he locks it. He doesn't sit. He stays standing like a judge. He says, "You think I don't know?" I blink and ask, "Know what?" He slides a stack of photos across his desk. Me and Claire walking out of a cafe. Me holding a moving box outside my building with her in the background. 2 normal moments framed like evidence. He says, "You're sleeping with my daughter." My mouth goes dry. I say, "We haven't even kissed. She helped me move one weekend. She's a friend." David smiles like my words are entertainment. He says, "You're fired." I laugh once because my brain still thinks it's a joke. He doesn't. He says, "Security will escort you out. If you contact Claire again, I'll make sure you never work in this city." Then he leans forward and adds, quieter, "I know people." That was the first injustice. Not just losing the job. Losing the ability to defend myself. Because the second a powerful man decides you're a threat to his family image, you're no longer a person. You're a problem he's solving. Security walked me out with a box. People watched. Nobody spoke. My badge deactivated before I hit the lobby. My face felt hot, but my hands were freezing. I went home and did what you do when you still believe in fairness. I tried to call Claire. No answer. I emailed her. The next day I got a reply from her account, "Never contact me again." The message was cold and generic, like it was written by someone who didn't know me. My stomach sank because I could picture David controlling the narrative from behind the scenes. Then the escalation started. I applied for jobs. Good interviews. Then silence. Over and over. A recruiter finally slipped on a call. They said you were terminated for misconduct. Misconduct? That word is poison. It follows you. It doesn't matter if it's vague. Vague is worse, because you can't kill it cleanly. My savings bled out in months. For months later, I moved back to my parents' house in Indiana. I was 26, unemployed, and furious in a quiet way that kept me awake at night. The raw thought that kept looping was simple. He did this because he could. Then I got a message I didn't expect. Not from Claire. From David's wife, Linda Morrison. Subject line, "We need to talk." My first instinct was paranoia. My second instinct was curiosity. We spoke on the phone once, then moved to email because I wanted a record. Linda didn't start with sympathy. She started with a question that made my chest tighten. Why was my husband tracking your contact with Claire? Tracking. She had seen something on his phone. Not concern. Obsession. I told her the truth. The locked door. The photos. The firing. The blacklisting. The email from Claire's account. Linda went quiet long enough that I thought she'd hung up. Then she wrote back, "He's done this before." She told me about 2 other employees who had been pushed out after getting too close to Claire. Not because they were dating her. Because David wanted control over the idea of her. He wanted to be the gatekeeper of her life and the executioner of anyone who threatened that control. Then Linda said the sentence that changed the shape of my anger. "I want out, but he lies clean. I need proof of what he does to people." I didn't respond for a full minute because I could feel the fork in the road. One path was pure revenge fantasy. The other was reality, evidence, timelines, consequences. I chose reality. I replied, "If you want proof, keep everything in writing. Don't confront him without a trail." Then I built my own trail too because I realized something. If David could erase me once, he could do it again unless I owned the record. Secret plan, step by step. First, I requested my termination documentation in writing. HR gave me a vague reason code and a corporate smile. I saved it. Second, I gathered evidence of the blacklisting. Email threads with recruiters. Rejection timelines that lined up right after reference checks. A hiring manager who was willing to say on email, "We received a concerning reference," without naming David. I saved it. Third, I documented my interactions with Claire, because I wanted proof the relationship was professional. Meeting invites, calendar entries, the single lunch receipt split evenly, nothing romantic. Not because I owed anyone purity, but because David's entire weapon was narrative. Then I made the move that rebuilt my life. I stopped chasing the job market David controlled and I started targeting a niche he didn't expect me to compete in. I took a lower-paying role in a smaller operations team and built a reputation quietly. I learned every piece of the logistics side he used to gatekeep. I networked with people who had been burned by his company's friendly facade. I wasn't trying to take his wife. I was trying to take my future back. Over time, I heard the same complaints about Morrison Logistics from different mouths. Slow response times, rushed contracts, promises made by executives and cleaned up by exhausted employees. David's company didn't run on excellence. It ran on intimidation and momentum. That's a fragile system. Fragile systems break when someone stops being scared of them. The hope moment came from an unexpected place. One of David's former account managers reached out to me after seeing my name on a LinkedIn update. She wrote, "You weren't the problem. Here's this. If you ever start your own thing, call me." I stared at that message for a long time. My hands didn't shake the way they used to. They felt steady. Because for the first time, someone inside his world acknowledged the truth. So I started building a company. Not overnight, not with stolen secrets, not with illegal tricks. I built it the boring way. A legal entity, a website, a service offering that was specific, and a promise I could keep. I also built one more thing, a file. Every email from Linda. Every note from recruiters. Every timeline entry. Not to publish. To protect myself, because I knew David's next move would be to call me unstable, unethical, or dangerous if I ever threatened him. Then the payoff setup arrived. David's biggest client, a pharmaceutical distributor, put out a request for proposals because they were reviewing vendor performance. That's corporate language for, "We're tired of your chaos." I didn't chase them like a desperate ex-employee. I responded like a competitor. Clean proposal. Clear pricing. Clear escalation path. No ego. No threats. Just competence. David heard about it and tried to shut it down. A mutual contact forwarded me a message from him. "He's a disgruntled former employee. He'll burn you." It was the same tactic again. Poison the well before anyone tastes it. But this time I had something I didn't have 2 years ago. A record. I sent the distributor's procurement lead one short email. "If you have concerns about my termination, I can provide documentation and references from current clients." No drama. No accusations. Professional. I attached nothing. I just made it clear I wasn't afraid of scrutiny. They asked for references. I provided them. They asked about my exit from Morrison Logistics. I answered in one sentence. I was terminated after a personal rumor escalated. I have documentation. I prefer to focus on performance and service. Then I shut up. Because oversharing looks defensive. Let them ask. Answer clean. Move on. Payoff. The day of the final meeting, I'm standing in a glass conference room while their legal team flips through contracts. My mouth is dry. I can feel my foot tapping under the table. Not from guilt. From adrenaline. David is on the other side of town, probably telling himself he still owns this city. Then the procurement lead slides a paper across the table and says, "We're moving forward with you." And the moment she says it, my whole body does this quiet release, shoulders dropping, breath I didn't realize I was holding finally leaving my chest. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. I signed. I shook hands. I walked out and sat in my car with my hands on the steering wheel until they stopped shaking. And then the karma twist hit. Because when someone like David loses control, they don't accept it. They lash out. He sent me a message for the first time in 2 years. Not an apology. The threat. "You'll regret this. I'll make sure you never work in this industry." The same line. Same man. Same tactic. But this time, I replied with one sentence. Any further contact should be through counsel. That was it. No argument. No emotion. Because I wasn't the person begging for a job anymore. I was the person with a contract in my inbox and receipts in my folder. Linda finalized her divorce not long after. Not because I stole anything, but because she finally had the courage to stop protecting a man who hurt everyone around him. Claire moved out of Chicago. I never blamed her. She was trapped in a father's story. I didn't want to be part of it. As for David, the industry didn't cancel him. The system just stopped covering for him. When enough people compare notes, patterns become obvious. He didn't lose his reputation because I screamed. He lost it because the record caught up. I'm telling you this because revenge stories online love drama. Real revenge is quieter. It's not stealing someone's life. It's refusing to let them steal yours. It's building a record, staying calm, and letting the truth do what it always does when you stop shielding someone from consequences. Spill tales. More stories. More receipts. More updates.